Okay, welcome back. Let's start with the final session of today. So the final session will be a marketplace. So a place where we showcase different experience, and in this case, the different experience of virtuous case studies on sustainable consumption and production, and also in a restoration of the ecosystem and planet. So we have a few guests today. Let's start with the first two. So if okay, I will start from Priyabrata Mukherjee. If you want to take the floor to introduce yourself, first of all, and to talk about your initiative from one moment. Are you there? No? From GGU India. Priyabrata, are you there? Okay, maybe we can start with Erin. What do you think? Erin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Hello.
Okay, hello, welcome back, Erin.
Thank
We know Erin roundtable, but we know more about your activity, Erin. So you have around 7 to 10 minutes to showcase the activities of NCET. You can use videos, slides, whatever. We want to know more about your wonderful activities.
Okay.
So the floor.
Okay. If you give me a second, I'll bring up some videos of our activities.
Okay.
Okay. I'd be and Priyabrata is now with us too.
Okay, as you prefer. As you prefer. Okay. If you want to.
If you'll give me a second, I'll pull up some videos, and maybe Priyabrata will has some things that he would like to say first.
Okay. So we can start with Priyabrata. If you want to go, Priyabrata.
If that's okay with Priyabrata.
Yeah. Actually, in India, it's a very big problem, climate change. And as you concept of the eco-village or ecological village, that the ecological itself telling about the relationship, interrelationship, and entire earth, all the biodiversity, microorganism, we are all interlocked through food chain or through give and take food and nutrition, etc. Not only oxygen, carbon dioxide, these are also included. So the entire process, ecological process, and the eco-village or ecological village, you know, in India that my state is, the state capital is called Kolkata or Calcutta. So Calcutta is called the ecological city. Why? Because the entire lifestyle of that city is depend upon the ecosystem. All the waste recycling and waste management, all the food resource that they get, they are ecological manner. But now modern days, these are changed actually. Wetlands are totally lost, and with this process, the ecological system of that city is lost. But still now some are present, and the consumption and sustainable consumption or sustainable business or sustainable designing, whatever it is, the meaning is that to changing the behavior first. The problem is that there is a lot of technology, lot of way we can promote the ecological relationship of sustainable consumption and sustainable production. But still now it is not communicate with general public citizens and the business typhoons also. Some companies are there, they really want to make sustainable production or green technology, application of green technology, green chemistry, etc. But still now there is a lack of opportunity, a lack of technology mainly, because for example, for solar energy, if we control the greenhouse gases, or if you want to control the climate change process, then we shift to non-conventional energy, or is solar energy is the most promising energy system. But still in India actually there is a little bit lack of technology. So proper technology is a big challenge for us for shifting to conventional energy to non-conventional energy. Other non-conventional energy are also very difficult to harvest, and technological difficulty also there. So there is a little bit problems with technology and production process, but still we will in future we go to the sustainable way, or green technology or green consumption. Actually for the consumption we need to control the behavior of consumer. It's a very needful process and very difficult process to change the concept of consumer for less amount of consumption and proper recycling process or proper use of organic materials, etc. We must shift to the organic process. For example, in mining process, if we use the bioleaching process, some biotechnological activities also there. So these are can also help us to making a sustainable lifestyle. So it is a complex process, of course. And if we think globally about this changing of behavior of consumption and production, so it's a big mammoth task for us. But awareness or more emphasis on behavioral change is needed, because some of the seminars and webinars and workshops we used to make it, but after the ending of the workshop or seminar, we all forget about that. What is the technology, what to do, what don't, but it needs the behavioral changes. So it is very difficult. My previous in the previous session, I heard about the communication process or etc. So it is the tools. Communication is the tools by which we can change the behavior or etc. So Ecovillage is it's a very good concept, and it makes the sustainable lifestyle, control the climate change. It also helps the ecological restoration, because the entire system in the organic system, and we should shift to the ecocentrism. It's not anthropocentrism. Still now, all the environmental movement, all the legal aspect, policies, laws, or etc. That we make worldwide, these are all anthropogenic. We need to shift towards the ecocentric or biocentric process, changing of the lifestyle of the society. Then we can control. So this ecocentric process make this very much ecological village concept, and different types of the business process are also there, like the ecotourism, isn't it? Or organic farming are there. So these make the eco-village concept very much promising way for sustainable lifestyle, mitigation of climate change, mitigation of biodiversity loss, etc. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyabrata, for showing us also your experience and your point of view on like more ecological, sustainable models for sustainable consumption and production. So now let's go to Erin, that will tell the experience of CET, and then I saw and I welcome Gabriel Siguera, that will be speaker after Erin. But first of all, Erin Wakeman, the floor is to you.
Thank you, Domenico. Okay, I have a few videos that I would love to show you about our experience in Siet in Naples, Italy. What we try to do is to inspire and to set a good example using many different fronts. For example, this video that I'm about to show you is a cartoon that one of our members made, and it was a collaboration between this wonderful lady and myself. She did the cartoon, and I wrote the song to go with it. So I hope that you will be able to hear it, because I'm doing all of this from my phone. So let's give it a shot. Okay, oh gosh. Oh gosh. Help me, Domenico. Okay.
If you want, you can send me the link. I'll try to.
I will do that. Can I send it on the chat of the
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that then. Better idea, don't you think? Okay. Ooh. There it is. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. How about that?
Okay. So just 1 second.
Okay, there it is.
Okay.
And this is a little video of our favorite little sea turtle. The which is Neapolitan for the sea turtle in the bottle. I can't hear the audio, Domenico. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your attitude, change your ways, your silly ways are keeping me from finding my own place. What's your favorite game? Really? Mine too. Splishing and splashing, surfing and snacking, my favorite things to do. The earth has changed in a flash. I cannot breathe, I cannot live with all this mess and trash. Responsibility is the key. No more plastic, no more trash. Have respect for me. So change your attitude, change your ways. Come on in, have a swim together in this place. Change your attitude, change your ways. Just give some thought to how you make a difference in this place. A difference in this place. A difference in this place.
Okay, thank you, Domenico, for putting that up for me.
What
So that was the work of the cartoon by Desiree Piccone and music by me and performed by me. I see that Priyabrata has his hand up. Do you have a question?
Oh, was a clap? Was a
Oh, that was a
congratulation.
clap. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I also would like to, I've already spoken about in the previous session about what we do in Siet. And I think it's also a better idea. Say hello. Also to give some visual aids. Okay, so I would like to share another video with you if that would be all right.
Okay.
I'll send you the link again, Domenico.
Okay.
Okay, and this is a video of us doing the Caccia alla Plastica swimming edition. And as I mentioned before in the previous session, that we try to incorporate fun and sport with our initiatives, so that when you go and you do a beach cleanup, not only do you help the environment, but you also make some muscles, you burn some calories, and you feel better about everything from the beginning. So I hope you enjoy it. This is the Caccia alla Plastica, the treasure hunt of it. This is the Bay of Naples, obviously. Okay, thank you again, Domenico, for putting that up for me. So to give everyone a bit of context on the activity is that for those who weren't able to attend the previous edition, the Caccia alla Plastica, which is the Caccia alla Plastica is basically a hunt for plastic. There were swimmers who physically they signed up to do an open water race of 2 kilometers in the Bay of Naples. And with every swimmer was also was paired up with a team of hunters, treasure hunters, plastic hunters, as you will. And and the amount of kilos that every team was able to pick up while the swimmer was in the water, that took off time of the swimmer's time. So, and we were all paired with a number. I don't know if you all noticed that we all had numbers on our arms, even the hunters on that were on the beach and the swimmers. And it was paired along with WISP, which is Sport for Everyone. And it was a great initiative, and it took place on one of the very, very, very few public beaches in the Naples metropolitan area, which is another great tragedy of Naples, with it being so rich in beautiful views. Unfortunately, public beaches for everyone are incredibly scarce, and also they tend to be incredibly polluted, as in particular that beach. Okay, Domenico, I think I've run out of time. Is it true?
No, okay. If you finish your presentation, you can like wrap up and.
Okay, well, if we've got enough time for another one, I'll bring up some artistic things. It's very short.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
If everyone will bear with me. All right. Let me show. This is a very brief video of especially when in the middle of the pandemic, in Naples and in all of Italy, the schools were closed, and to prevent the further spread of the virus. This is was a bit of a plea for governments to reopen the schools, and we have the great privilege of having an artist and as one of our members he's an artist, not only an artist, but he's an artist of recyclable objects. Like for him, as we say, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. This was taken during one of our usual beach cleanups, and the things that were found, he made an installment of art. This is another one of the beaches that unfortunately is devastated from pollution, because it's close to a former industrial area. This is all. This is my son, actually. This is my other son.
Nice, super nice.
And unfortunately, in this past year and a half, 2 years, children are the ones I think who have really suffered the most with having all of their daily activities taken away, such as school. And that video right there was basically a plea to everyone to take some action and to try to. We have to keep fighting, and we have to get back to our normal daily lives.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Erin, for your contribution, and thank you for the amazing video, and congratulations for the great work that you are doing there in Naples.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining the Climate Social Forum.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So if you have questions for Erin, you can put them into the chat, and you can interact also by there. And then I also shared the Discord channel, which I invite you to join to interact. And now let's go to the next speaker that I'm very pleased to have with us today is Gabriel Siqueira from the Global Ecovillage Network. So we talked a little bit before about ecovillages. Ecovillages are a super interesting model of sustainable communities. So Gabriel, I'll give the floor to let us know a little bit better this model and also the Global Ecovillage Network.
Thank you, Domenico, for the introduction, for the invitation too. I'm really happy to be participating in this forum. Thank you, Erin, for the inspirational work you're doing, and Priya Brata also for the work you're doing. I really enjoyed hearing your presentations. Well, I'm going to start introducing a bit myself. My name is Gabriel Siqueira, and I'm the Communications Director of the Global Ecovillage Network. I've been serving in this role for a little over 2 years now, and we're a part of a global team. I'm based in Serra Grande, Uruçuca, Bahia, Brazil. Our office is in Findhorn, Scotland, and we have people working for GEN all over the globe. The Global Ecovillage Network is a community and a network of networks of around 6,000 communities and ecovillages across the whole globe. We are really diverse, so it's not only about ecovillages, but also from indigenous and traditional communities and networks of villages in India, Senegal, and Latin America, as well as intentional sustainable communities in the global north. And what connects all of these different possible ways of experiencing a community is the systemic holistic perspective. We are really, really passionate about weaving together the social, ecological, economical, and cultural aspects of regeneration and understanding how they can strengthen each other. And we link them as we redesign systems and find how we can converge different dimensions into a systemic view. So I think this is one of the central aspects of any eco-village, even if it's a very small one or a consolidated one that exists over 40 years with thousands of people living in it. The thing that really unites them is this systemic view and the systemic perspective on regeneration and sustainability. We're super committed to radical democracy and grassroots action. So you'll never find one eco-village equal to the other within our ecosystem. And GEN is designed by the people who live there. You cannot say from any other, any village from our network that it was not designed by the people that live there. So I think this is also very crucial part of our eco-villages is that they are community-led, different from many other kinds of regenerative solutions. Ours is 100% community-led. And it's a real belief in people, you know, the people on the ground taking power over the future that they want to see and dedicating their lives to making that come true. And it's really impressive, you know, it's a network full of people that are willing to commit their lives, to put their lives on the line, to completely change their lives in order to create and live a different world. And these people, they commit really, you know, it's a huge commitment, a life commitment to create a kind of permanent autonomous zones where reality can function in a different way, where we can experience, where we can be more than what the current systems tells us we are. We can identify differently, we can exchange differently, not only in the human world, but also with the rest of nature. The network also works in a very complex way. So we have so many levels of collaboration. So GEN, as I said before, is kind of a meta network because we have the, like sometimes we have regional networks, sometimes we have national networks in some parts of the world. We have the bioregional networks, and we have even continental-based networks. And right now we have, we're working together as in Latin America, the network is called Casa Latina, Gen Europe, Gen North America, Gen Oceania in Asia, and Gen Africa. So we have this continental-based networks consolidating what's happening on the bioregions and on the national levels. And all of these networks link together in creating Gen International, which is where I work. And Gen International, we are basically working to give eco-villages a global voice, to facilitate more the exchanges between us so that we can learn from each other, and to also support ourselves, support other communities, and support more and more people to do the transition, to bring their dreams into a self-realized, grassroots, empowered way of living in more harmony. So in a very straight, basic way, that's what the Global Ecovillage Network is. And it's a decentralized governance. We don't have like an executive director at this point. The management of the organization is done by an international board that is selected by people from the regions. And then people are hired to execute it. As me, you know, I'm working as communications director now for 2.5 years, more or less 2 years and a bit. And I'm serving this international capacity. So I'm looking at the whole global movement, and I'm trying to create a mosaic that represents all of the individual voices within this network. And that's what we're doing. I guess it's worth mentioning that we are preparing ourselves now, preparing our delegation for COP26. We've been participating actively on COP since COP21, but we've been participating before that. We were there in Copenhagen in COP15. So we've been participating in the UN debate and the UN process, trying to represent the Ecovillage movement there, you know, bringing also particularities from our regional networks. So for instance, especially Casa Latina works a lot with the rights of Mother Nature, the rights of Earth. And so we support this movement as well when we are in these larger discussions. We also participate in other UN spaces. We are part of the ECOSOC, which is the Social Council of the United Nations. We are an accredited organization that it's a part of the social consultancy group that UN maintains. So we are a part of this debate on the global level, but at the same time, we're really there to represent the work on the ground, you know, the grassroots movements. I'm also like, I created an Ecovillage. I'm part of the Brazilian Ecovillage movement as well. So everyone that is engaged on the Ecovillage movement somehow is also engaged on the ground with their territories. And so what the Global Ecovillage Network does is building this bridge, you know, between what the action that is happening on local spaces and systematizing these technologies, supporting them to be replicated in different contexts, and also to generate this global representation of the movement. Yeah, so I guess as an introduction, that's a really good introduction, you know, to how the Global Ecovillage movement works. And if you guys have any other questions on Ecovillage specifically, I'm also open to it. Yeah, Erin, yeah, please.
I'm curious. I'm very, very happy to hear about what you do. And I was wondering, I heard what you said, that your eco-villages are self-governed in the sense that it's all designed by its own inhabitants. So I'm assuming that means that there's no cookie cutter print of one eco-village. It's all based on the specific needs of that area. Could you give me, I'm curious to know what an example, for example, your eco-village, what is a principal part of your eco-village, and how is it different from others?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I mean, I think like the goals, you know, like maybe the dream or the vision of each eco-village like we have as many eco villages as diverse as we have people in the world, you know. So people bringing their dreams, their aspirations, their skills into creating projects that they have affinity with. So there are vegan centered eco villages, there are more spiritual ones. The one I helped creating, I didn't create it myself, obviously, you know, it was a collective creation. Our main focus, our motivation was to I think the main motivation, the core motivation was really to develop a space for our children to grow. So I had 2 kids, and my kids were growing at the time, and yeah, and we connected with other families that had similar needs, you know, that like at the time when we created Ecovillage, my older daughter, she had 3 years old, and my younger one was 1 year old. And we felt that as they were growing, we were still living in the city at that point, although in kind of a rural area, but near to a state capital at that point. And we noticed that for the kind of education we wanted to provide to our children, we needed to develop a space where they could live and develop themselves. So that was the core for us, you know, to really create a learning community, a community where they would have opportunities to learn with each other, with other kids of different ages and with grown-ups doing different stuff. I particularly don't consider myself the best of the example, especially for small children, you know, because I work in front of a computer doing a kind of bureaucratic work, you know, and it's very intangible. So I felt that my kids needed also some kind of inspiration from friends of mine that are doing different, or even me on different spaces that are not only my professional work, but also, you know, building and planting and doing stuff with my hands. And I felt like being in a community, I would have a more plural and diverse space to offer to my children to develop. So that was what guided us into creating the community. But as it was developing, we found out many other things that are important to us and that we hold important, or, you know, sacred, we could say, although we are not a religious community, but we had some central points, you know, central key points that for us were important, such as that the decision-making process was equalized and decentralized, you know. So we had some principles that were very fundamental to us. Another thing was the relationship with the land itself, because we bought a piece of land, no one was owning or was inhabiting that particular bioregion before we started the project. So we started developing a relationship with the bioregion where we were in, and we started developing a relationship with the communities around us. We were neighbor to a traditional community that was already there, you know, remainder of Maroon, you know, like quilombolas here in Brazil, so a traditional community of former runaway slaves, you know, enslaved people that are there for hundreds of years. So we developed a really strong relationship with them. And at one point I was working together with them, you know, to support their own work too. So for us, it was fundamental to build these very strong relationships with the bioregion where we're within. Not all eco-villages are going to be like that. Although none of them are isolated from where they are, you cannot be isolated where you are. You're going to end up having a relationship, especially if you have a more systemic view, if you have the goal of really integrating the different parts of your community, you're going to end up building relationships on the ground with other communities, with neighbors, with the city closer to you as well. So there are eco-villages that end up developing alternative economical systems, and then the city nearby starts accepting the alternative currency that was developed in the eco-village. You're going to see eco-villages that their main goal is really spiritual, of like self-development, and that's where they're going to focus most of their energy. So there are really as many possible, we call it glue, you know, so a glue that connects together communities. There are as many glues as there are people in the world, you know, so they're really like, you know, different areas, but always with this systemic view. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, for giving us this overview. I was really interested to hear about this model that also in the previous edition of Climate Social Forum, we started to explore and so on. So I invite you also, if you have some materials to share videos, as Erin has said, as done, please share with us. We can put in our repository and so on, and it will be part of the knowledge base of the Climate Change Forum. We'll be very glad to spread the knowledge about these models. Now we pass to the other speaker. At the end, we will have also a small space for further interaction and questions. So also for this participant, think about a possible question for each one of the presenter. And I will go to the next speaker of the session, that will be our friends from Giving Life to Nature. So just one moment, because we have to share the screen. They are connected through another platform due to some problem of connection. But let's try to make the technology trick to let them interact the same. So just one moment. Okay, here we are. So Eric, if you want to go and introduce yourself and Giving Life to Nature.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric. I'm from Ghana and I'm working with Giving Life Nature Volunteer. It's located in Accra, Ghana. Welcome everybody again. I would like to introduce our new project that we started in 2016, which is a plastic waste management project in Ghana. And this project have helped to eradicate more plastic waste in food chains, vendors. And also, before I start, I would like Domenico to play one of our project video that we did. Then I will continue. Thank you very much. Hello, Domenico?
Disposable
Yes, we are
toiletries,
saying the video.
plastic bags, bin liners, food packaging, and cups are among the biggest plastic polluters. Ocean is a vital source of nourishment. It supports the livelihood of 500 million people. Unfortunately, the oceans are facing multiple environmental stresses as a result of marine pollution, ocean acidification, and climate change. This has resulted in the loss of marine species and degradation of marine and coastal environments. Many cities are faced with the problem of the improper disposal of litter. This is directly related to the inexistent waste management infrastructure. Studies have shown that more than 70% of the litter on the beach surfaces, consist of microplastics that originate from river mouth. Ecologically, seabirds and marine mammals are prone to become entangled in the waste that pollutes the ocean, causing harmful development impacts in the aquatic animals. Macroplastics and microplastics damage ecosystems and the aesthetic of the shoreline. In addition, the improper management of plastic deteriorates. Ghana has launched a proper plan to utilize open areas for public recreation and to develop the local tourism economy. This year, the United Nations declared the Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development that will run from 2021 to 2030. The decade aims to support efforts to reverse the cycle of decline in ocean health for a well-functioning ocean and for the sustainable development of ocean through biodiversity conservation. Therefore, programs such as beach cleanup, mangrove planting, tree planting, education, awareness programs, training, and seminars are examples of biodiversity conservation that were organized. Our ongoing new project has helped in reducing the use of plastics in the food system chain. The organization started a project since 2018 to reduce and replace the food packaging system with a local leaf called the ketenfe leaves, which are used to serve food and others. The project has many advantages, which has made us so confident that it will solve or reduce plastic use in our daily activities when properly used and accepted by many countries. The organization has encouraged farmers in the cultivation of the ketenfe leaves, education in the food chain. The organization is able to eradicate 1,000 of plastic used daily in the city of Accra. The acceptance of this old way of food packaging has many advantages and few disadvantages. These are reduced plastic waste in our daily food system chains, and secondly, it reduces health implications for individuals. For example, the use of plastic served with hot food releases toxic and affects our health and gives us sicknesses like cancer, liver problem, and many more. And the third advantage is that it has positive impact on the economies where jobs are created in the farming activities. The organization have to educate the food vendors in the use of these ketenfe leaves to avoid food to be contaminated when it is not properly cleaned with salt, water, or vinegar for proper sanitization.
Sometimes my customers, when they see the leaves, the patronage of the food goes high rather than the rubber. And sometimes too, they said because of the scent of the leaves, when they buy the food, the scent in the food makes them like they have appetite for the food. And they said it's medicinal. So I think that we should all petrol make the leaves rather than the rubber. Because me, when I don't have leaves, they don't buy. They don't like the rubber, they want the leaves.
Okay, we are seeing the project of the ketenfe leaves. Maybe Eric, if you want to say something more about the project, there's one that I.
Thank you very much. I'll talk about the waste management project that we started in 2016. The project was launched in one of the university in Ghana, and also we invited more organizations and also companies that are working in plastic waste management project in Ghana. More than millions of tons of plastic are thrown away every year, and Africa inadequate waste management and recycling infrastructure can handle the load. Waste in Africa overflow onto street and shore, spread disease and diarrhea from everywhere in Africa. So our project Kentucky Leaf that we've launched is to reduce the use of plastic waste, plastic in our daily life. In Ghana, most of food products are packaging in rubber. When we want to get a wache is rice with beans together. If you want to buy, they have to use almost three different tray of plastic to wrap only one food for you. And looking at it, it is making a lot, is contributing to the plastic waste and also pollution in our communities, because every day we have to buy food and eat. So we've approached some of the farmers to see to solve the solution, to get a solution for this lasting problem. So we have to start training the farmers to cultivate this Kentucky leaf so that we can get more into the market in case we want to start our project. So we start talking to the food vendors in our communities in the cities, so that they can begin to educate people about this particular use of Kentucky leaf, who have a lot of advantages. So we started in our community, we moved to other communities and areas in Ghana to tell the food vendors to start using, so that we can see the impact of the Kentucky leaf in our society. So during this time, we can see that there is a lot of improvement in the use of Kentucky leaf, and also it has helped the farmers to cultivate more Kentucky and bring to the market and sell. So you can see there is economic impact and also environmental impact in the use of this Kentucky leaf. So this project is still ongoing, and we are looking for partners that can also help us to expand our project to other cities in Ghana, because we can see that it is helping a lot in the waste management, plastic waste management, and it is helping also in a health system. So some of the campaign that we started, we raised awareness about the plastic pollution problem first, and the promotion of the sustainable use of this Kentucky leaf. And also we want to create a system where the government can ban this plastic waste enough, because it can cause a lot of damage in our health system, our health, and it will make a lot of progress if government agree to ban the use of this plastic and replace it with this Kentucky leaf. So I will end it here. Then I will leave my contact, and this project is ongoing, and at the end of the year we are going to do our small project and invite a lot of food vendors to see how best we are able to impact people's life. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you, Eric. Congratulations for your project. So you are now shared on Facebook. If you want to share your contacts, then I will forward into the Zoom chat. And we have also another speaker for this session. So I very welcome Mr. Sato to join the talk. So Mr. Sato, the floor is yours to introduce yourself and also make your intervention. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Okay, thank you, Domenico. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank everyone. I'm Shinichi Sato, founder of Circular Infinity in Japan, and it's a non-exploit organization. And I'm also on behalf of MMT Sans Frontier and my friend in Uyghur or Bolivia. So it's my message. Thank you, Tao, Deir, and Yoshihito. Okay, let's start my speech. Climate change causes some kinds of influence. For example, food production, labor, and human rights, or social system. Recent news made me upset for canceling voting under UN to enjoy the rights for an environment. And at first, I'll tell you Yoshihito's story. It's Bolivian food crisis. Quinoa grown mainly in Andean region is highly nutritious and vitamin-rich plant food. It can be grown in a variety of environments and climates, and it's salt tolerant. It is one of the next generation food that have great potential for solving hunger and poverty, as well as insect food. Therefore, he tries every day to find a company to import quinoa from Bolivia. And he have another problem about Uyuni Salt Lake. There is a similar topic to Erin, and it's a garbage problem. Uyuni Salt Lake have some kind of garbage from tourists or someone. It's tragedy. And in Japan, custom eating insect has been popular in some area. Today, we have 20 or vending machine of insect food, which sells 100 or 200 units per month. Next, about Uyghur, I'll tell you Daria's story, its development. He needs a new kind of economics as well as politics to make sure of the safe future of Uyghur. He has joined some kinds of events and festivals to make familiar the culture of Uyghur. He also prepares to play concerts by himself next January. His purpose is to introduce the Uyghur culture to the Japanese. It is important to have a culture center to introduce Uyghur culture. If so, a future culture spot about Uyghur will remain anywhere, such as Japan. Such a center and some kinds of spot with anyone enjoying dance or music of Uyghur are very important for local people, including Japanese. We must overcome financial problems. Okay.
You can go.
Okay, so we must overcome financial problems. That is new economics to execute all the things. So that's a final story. I deliver Tao's opinion, new economy. He believes in the potential of MMT, a modern money theory, to overcome fiscal or economic problems under the MMT Sun Frontier. MMT means that the freedom of fiscal policies can peak out in the country with a floating exchange rate system and sovereignty to issue currency. Speaking of sustainable growth of people's lives in developing countries, it is extremely important to execute how many fiscal policies. While it is often taken into consideration to gain foreign currencies and export to them, MMT doesn't always need such a position. The government that can issue domestic money is recognized to be a creator of money, while it is recognized to be a consumer of foreign money. Therefore, if domestic payment depends on foreign currency, it can cause a national fiscal policy to be limited. It is obedient for EU countries and countries that adopted dollar policy. According to MMT, a sustainable policy for the developing countries is to issue a domestic currency basis and issue a domestic currency for domestic central bank. Next, the levy system should be organized as a trigger to raise demands of the private sector to circulate domestic currency. The amount of levy should be smaller than the expenditure to allow people to pay for something. If people want domestic currency for tax, the government can hire the unemployed and natural resources to make useful for some kinds of business for QOL of the people. The benefit of freedom of fiscal policy is that projects such as domestic food production, education, infrastructure development, and nursing care, which meet the demands of the people but do not require much in the way of imported resources, can be financed by issuing the country's own currency, not by foreign currency or tax revenues. If a country can increase its own supply capacity and meet the demand of its citizens in this way, it will be able to stabilize its national economy. The second, the increased supply capacity will enable the country to meet the demand of other countries. MMT considers exports as cost and imports as benefit from the real side of the trade. In MMT, exports are cost and imports are benefit from a real-world perspective, as it is the drain of domestic natural resources and the fruits of labor in exchange for the electronic bookkeeping figures of other countries. As long as exports are excessive and the outflow of domestic resources to foreign countries exceeds imports, the people may produce, but there will be no increase in the output available for purchase. Imports, on the other side, provide access to real goods and services that cannot be produced at home in exchange for foreign currency or debt on the books of the country's central bank. In conclusion, climate change had an impact on food production and human rights or a social system. There are some kinds of problems, and we should tackle with a variety of problems in partnership. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sato, for your speech, and thank you also for joining the Climate Social Forum. It's been a pleasure to have you with us, and it's a pleasure to have like such a variety of speakers from all over the countries and all over the world. So now we have the space for a small interaction among the presenter, the participant, and so on. So if someone of you has some questions from one of the speakers, please go ahead and let's take like 10, 15 minutes for doing that. And I remember to join also the Discord channel to continue the discussions. So
I have a question for Eric.
Yes, let's try to
if it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. We have to rearrange the link, but you can go. I have to repeat the question for Eric, okay. But you can go first.
Okay. As I was listening to Eric's talk, I noticed that he talked about educating farmers to cultivate the leaves, and I was wondering if the cultivation of these leaves is something to be integrated into farmers the farmers' production, or to take other farmers to cultivate that one crop, these leaves. I'm wondering if it's something to integrate to other farmers' production, or something to be taken separately.
Okay, so Eric, there is a question for you, so you can open the microphone and answer to the question. The question is coming from Erin Wakeman from NCET, and she was asking that you explained that you trained the farmers for growing the Keten Feliz, but this crop is integrated into the current plant of the already farmers, or you need new farmers or new cultivations for the Keten leaves. So are you managing? Are you integrating the cultivation of this crop inside the actual cultivation, or are you making new cultivation on that? So the floor is to you, Eric. You can unmute.
Hello, Domenico.
Yeah.
Please, can I talk?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Kentucky leaf is a leaf that was used in the olden days, more than 100 years ago, where they don't use plastic in our daily food system. But uh, due to people avoiding to farm this particular Kentucky leaf, they prefer using plastic so that it will be easier for them. So we started communicating with the farmers that are already in this particular cultivation so that they can expand these farms so that we can be able to reach a number of food vendors that need this particular leaf. So we are working directly with the farmers and the people who are into this particular Kentucky leaf production. So actually, there's no seed that they planted, but when it's like, I don't know, the Kentucky leaves do grow in a forest, and when it grow, you can take part and plant, and then it will have a lot of leaf around, so it expand. So when you take some and you plant somewhere, it will take over that place. So that's why they have been doing the cultivation. We are now doing the research to see if we can get some of the seed that can be able to use in other part of apart from Ghana or Africa, so that if it's possible, we can do cultivation everywhere if the land permitted. So thank you very much.
Thank you to you, Eric, and thank you for Erin for the question.
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, uh, he cultivate the plants
Yes,
and
did I
use
answer
the
the
leaves
question?
in the field. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So
Eric. Yes. Go
you
ahead.
heard me? Yeah, you heard me?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So you cultivate the leaves. In India, we also use the leaves as a wrapper or as a container. But the problem is that most of the consumer is not like this type of old fashion. So what type of reaction comes from the consumer as they wishing to use this leaves wrapper or leaves container for their product containing the product or etc. Because in India, Soria robusta is a plant we in our district we use extensively for feeding purpose, for wrappering purpose, etc. But it's not popular for consumer. It's a very old system, but still plastic is more likely product for a consumer. So is it any positive behavior for consumer using this type of leaves?
I will ask to Eric. It's come another question from Priyavatra Mukherjee from India, and he was commenting that also in India we're used to use leaves as envelope and for foods, but the consumers now prefer plastic because maybe perceive that the leaves more old-fashioned and maybe like consider this not a modern thing, or they are more keen to use plastic as they consider plastic as best way. Which are the reaction that you find in your experience, Eric, regarding also the reactions of the consumers in using leaves instead of plastic?
Okay, thank you very much. One of the advantage of this one of the advantage of this Kentucky leaf use is the consumers are very happy for us to bring this whole system of food packaging, which is our joy also, because most of the time these particular leaves were used in a village, and most people are coming from village. So it's like they are living in a village in a city. So when they eat, even one day when some of you have a chance to visit Africa, you can feel when you are eating in the leaf, you can feel there is a scent. Number one, a good scent that comes out from the food, which smell very good. Secondly, when we are eating, it changes the appetite of the food. And most people are now shifting from the use of these plastic waste to Kentucky leaves. So when you come to Accra, most food vendors now are now purchasing the Kentucky leaf, and the only rubber they use is after serving in the Kentucky leaf. If they want to let them take away, they only put in there. So instead of using three plastic rubber to wrap the food, because you have to put it in a food first, then you put it in another one before you put it in the third one. But right now, with the use of Kentucky leaf, you only need to take only one plastic rubber away. So this has drastically reduced the use of plastic in our daily food system and it has also improved the health of people. We have talked to some of the herbalists in Africa and in our cities. They give the advantage of this Kentucky leaf and what this Kentucky leaf can also help in promoting our health. So most of you can read about this Kentucky leaf. You can read and see the advantage of using of this Kentucky leaf. So many people are shifting totally from the use of this plastic into this Kentucky leaf. And it's a project that we want to cover the whole Ghana, whereby in 10 years, we will not use again in this rubber, and we are also finding a solution if you to get a plastic, degradable plastic that whenever they buy, they wrap food into it, it can decompose. It will not go and be another problem in the society. That in rainy season, it will take them to our beaches, and we have to go there and clean up, do the clean up again. So this is my answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you, Eric, and thank you for the question also. So we have space for one last question for each one of the speakers or one of
I
the
have a
speakers.
question for what was his name? Sato, Mr. Sato.
Okay.
I heard him talking about a specific culture, and I was wondering if he could spell out the name of the culture. I'm curious to know more about it. He called it a Uyghur.
A Uyghur, yeah.
How could you spell that? Could you spell it for me?
Okay. So Uyghur is maybe northern of China. So it's they are forced to compulsory labor. It's tragedy. So maybe you know. So wait a minute. Uyghur. So okay. UIGHUR. Okay, UIGHUR. It's minor. It's minor. People. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Could you talk a little bit more about the culture, because I'm very curious that in spreading the culture to what is so what is it that this culture can offer to the other parts of the world?
So okay. So if you are interested, I can introduce my friends to you. Okay.
Yes, I'm curious.
Okay.
Okay. If there are any other questions, so I also again I invite you interact also in our channel. If there aren't any other questions, we can close the call of today. And also the track of today has been like a super fruitful track since the beginning. We have reached several input, starting from the concept of One Health. We addressed the concept of One Health. Then we go into the restoration of ecosystem, and also in the communication, also on the climate crisis and environmental crisis. Going to finish on several experiences that addresses how it's possible also to do something. One of the very mission of Climate Social Forum is also to foster solutions and models to the crisis. Our motto is alone we have problems, together we have solutions. And I think that together today we had experienced that there are several things that we can do together, and also we can know among each other. So thank you very much to all the speakers of the session, and I kindly invite you also to follow the next days of a Climate Social Forum. Tomorrow, the track will be the third P of our model. We are using this model of the 6 Ps, and the third P will be prosperity. Tomorrow there will be also another nice thing that is an innovation for the edition of this year. That is like the Climate Social Forum network marketplace. So we are giving the possibility to associations, network, and so on that has some project and also has joined the Climate Social Forum to showcase their experience. And also, if someone of you of the attendees and so on are interested to join this open space that we are providing with the Climate Social Forum, just write to us. We are very keen and open to give the space for presentation and information. So thank you very much to all, and see you to the next session. Bye.
Thank you, Domenico. It was a pleasure talking to all of you.
Me too. I totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Domino.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sincerely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gabriel, for joining. Thank you, Mr. Sato. Thank you, Pribhakaraman. Bye-bye.
We meet again. Yeah, we meet again. Yeah.